I appreciate everybody that has shown up, coming out here. This is a sad case. It's a investigation that we worked several years ago, and we're going to have y'all's assistance in getting information to the public to try and help get this wanted fugitive into custody. Let me start by giving you my name. It's Crane, C-R-A-I-N. First name is David, D-A-V-I-D. I'm a investigator in the homicide unit of the Sheriff's Office. Give me 1 second to make sure. I think we're having a camera issue on one side. You good? Okay. On May 17th of 2021, the victim, Eddie Clark III, was driving home. And if you want to fix it, we can, and I'll start over. I'm fine.
No problem.
If it would help if I move this, we can do that too.
That'll work.
Is everybody good? Okay. On May 17th of 2021, Eddie Clark III was driving home from work sometime around 11 p.m. As he entered his neighborhood, and unbeknownst to him, he passed the residence of Joe and Florinda Argueta. The Argueta house had recently been vandalized and allegedly vandalized, not with a lot of damage, reported to me to be BB gun. A BB gun had been fired into a window, and a plan had been devised by the Argueta family to look for the person responsible for doing this damage. They believed that that person was driving a dark-colored sedan in which matched what Eddie Clark III was also driving. As he passed their home, they put their plan into action and ultimately blocked him in the public roadway with 2 cars. They ran at his car with a baseball bat and a pistol, and in Eddie's attempts to get away, not knowing what was happening, they began to beat the car and shoot into the car, ultimately hitting him. He continued to flee, crashed into a tree, and then ran 1 block before collapsing from his gunshot wounds, and he later died that night at a hospital in the medical center. The investigation revealed that Joe Argueta, Luis Argueta, Margarito Alcantar, and Florinda Argueta all had an active role in the incident that caused Eddie Clark's death. 3 of them have accepted, well, I don't want to say accepted responsibility, but they have entered into the system. And their cases are pending, and they are on bond, and they're doing everything that society expects of them to do. Joe Argueta, he fled from the scene that night and has not been seen. Joe Argueta is a coward, and he is allowing, I'm sorry, let me correct that. Luis Argueta is a coward, and he is allowing his wife, his son, and his brother-in-law to face murder charges for a case that he was very, very much involved in, and he is just hiding out. I have no reason to believe that he has fled the Houston area. I think he's here. I think he's still in contact with the family, and we would plead with the public's help in locating Luis Argueta. He's in the construction trade. I believe he's still doing construction work, and there's a citizen out there that has the information that we need to get him located and into custody. Crime Stoppers is offering up to a $5,000 reward for information leading to Luis Argueta's arrest, and I would, plead with the public, use the anonymous tip line, or you can call the Homicide Division of the Sheriff's Office at 713-274-9100 and provide any information you have on where Luis Argueta may be found. Are there any questions about? Yes, sir?
Luis, the alleged shooter?
The information we've developed initially at the scene, Joe Argueta stated he was the shooter. That information has changed, and we now well believe that Lewis is the actual shooter. But beyond that, I really don't want to go into each one of them specific details because their trials are pending. So I think it would be unfair to go into each one of them's specific role, but I believe Lewis Argueta is the shooter in this incident.
Does Lewis have any priors?
Lewis has been handled before. I would have to go back and refresh my memory on what those charges were, but certainly nothing like this. So,
How is the victim's family doing? I mean, I can't imagine losing a family member just steps away from his house.
they were extremely distraught at the time of the event. They are, I think, patiently waiting for justice for Eddie. And they, just like us, they want the public to know that Lewis Argueta needs to be captured and held accountable for Eddie Clark's death. I've reached out to them. We've maintained communications with them. It's a great family. And this guy, this victim, Eddie Clark III, was doing what we all do every day, and that's minding his own business, driving home. And he is accosted by 4 people in 2 cars and scared to death trying to figure out what in the world's happening. People are coming at him with bats and guns and ultimately shoot and kill him. So.
Would it be considered wrong place at wrong time? Is that basically what happened here?
Well, he's at the right place. He's in his neighborhood going home. It's this family. I don't know if they thought that, only one dark car was ever made, but you've got a dark car driving through their neighborhood and they just immediately assume that that's the guy that damaged our house and we're going to get him. And they chased after him and hunted him down. We just don't do that. So.
Was the story they told about, their home being damaged and they were being harassed by this person, was that ever legitimate? Did you guys ever find anyone?
There were prior calls for service to the house. There were reports of a window being damaged by a BB type gun, an air type gun. But frankly, I think that happens quite often across the city and the county. And it certainly doesn't end in a death penalty for some poor guy driving home from work, But they did report it, but, it in no way justifies or even approaches their reaction to how they handled it that night.
Have you been able to talk to any of these 3 who have been charged and are currently in the system? Like, are they cooperating with this investigation at all? Do they have?
We initially talked to them. Each one gave us varying information, some self-serving, some that was borne out to be truthful. But in terms of their statement, what they said, it would be unfair to go into that prior to their trial. So.
But you do believe at this point Luis is still in the city of Houston and you believe he is maintaining contact with his family?
I have no reason to believe that he's fled the area. I have every reason to believe that he's still here. He's still communicating with his wife and his kids. My understanding of that relationship prior to this is it was a very close relationship. And I just don't think people up and leave their wives and families and homes and everything else behind something like this. I think he's just a coward, and he's in the area. Someone knows where he is.
Are there any other details you can provide us about the victim, Eddie? I know you said he was living with his parents at the time. Do you know what he did for a living?
I really don't know what he did for a living. For some reason, I believe that they told me he was also a student. I don't know if he was doing some part-time school work, but he worked in the evening time and was simply on his way home from work at the time of the murder.
Last question. Message to the community, your final thoughts.
Again, what happened to Eddie Clark is everybody's nightmare. Lewis Argueta is responsible for that nightmare, and a citizen in Harris County knows where Lewis Argueta is, and I would just plead with them to come forward with information either through Crime Stoppers or through the Homicide Division to give us information that will lead to his capture so he can be held responsible for the death of Eddie Clark. So. Espanol? I'm not gonna talk as much as he did, but. Hola, ¿cómo están ahora? Mi nombre es Mario Quintanilla. Soy un investigador con el condado de Harris, en el departamento de homicidios. Ahora estamos aquí porque estamos pidiendo al público por asistencia en buscando un fugitivo, Luis Argueta. Luis Argueta causó la muerte de la víctima Eddie Clark el día de lunes, mayo 17, 2021, en el 1700 bloque de Hilton Hollow. Este incidente pasó porque la familia, Luis Argueta y su familia, estaban buscando a una persona que ellos pensaron que había causado daño a la casa de ellos. Ellos sabían que la persona estaba manejando un carro oscuro y en el momento que ellos estaban buscando a esa persona, la víctima venía para la casa de su trabajo. Él vivía como a 2 cuadras atrás de la casa del sospechoso. Durante ese tiempo ellos vieron el carro manejando en la vecindad. Ellos siguieron el carro agresivamente, empezaron a perseguir a la víctima. Con 2 carros ellos pudieron atrapar la víctima en el carro de él y los sospechosos, que es Luis Argueta y sus familiares, Florinda Argueta, Joe Argueta y Luis Alcantar, empezaron a golpear el carro de la víctima con bates. Durante ese tiempo la víctima quiso irse en el carro y fueron varios balazos disparados. Le pegaron al carro de la víctima y la víctima no se pudo ir en el carro de él, so él corrió y él se cayó porque había estado balaceado por las acciones de Luis Argueta y la familia. En ese día nosotros sí hablamos con los sospechosos. El único que no estaba allí fue Luis Argueta. Él se había ido y desde ese tiempo no lo hemos visto. La investigación reveló que Luis Argueta fue el que disparó la pistola al carro de la víctima, causando la muerte de la víctima. Nosotros pensamos que Luis Argueta todavía está en la área de Houston. Él trabaja en construcción o trabajaba en construcción y pensamos que todavía hace lo mismo. Sí pensamos que él todavía está comunicándose con la familia, con la esposa y los hijos. Y ahorita es lo que estamos aquí pidiendo ayuda del público, que por favor hablen a Crime Stoppers o el Departamento de Alguacil de Harris County, y cualquier información que ustedes nos dan pueden estar anónimos y hay una recompensa hasta $5,000 para saber dónde está Luis Argueta y el arresto de Luis Argueta.
Este suceso ocurrió hace 2 años y sin embargo vuelve a ser reabierto ahora o vuelven a mencionarlo ahora. Lo nuevo en este caso sería que él fue el tirador de este suceso, Luis Argueta, o eso ya lo habían determinado antes.
En el principio el hijo quiso decir que él fue, pero la evidencia no estaba correcta con lo que él nos había dicho y seguimos investigando y determinamos que Luis fue el que disparó la pistola.
You did so well, I don't have questions.
Well, I took after you.